Okay. So good afternoon. It's Friday, September 4th, the beginning of Labor Day weekend. We just raised the Italian flag outside of City Hall and down at the county courthouse. Unfortunately, we aren't having La Festa this year because of COVID, but special thanks to Chris and everyone from the La Festa committee for coming out and at least celebrating the weekend. And I think some of them are a little relieved. They're actually enjoying their Labor Day weekend in a different way than usual. And of course, everyone hopes that we'll be back at it next year as usual, and it'll be the best La Festa ever after a break, which we've unfortunately had to endure. But in the meantime, the restaurants that serve amazing Italian food all over Scranton are open. So please go to your local pizzeria, your local place that you get pasta, order takeout, dine outside, try to enjoy La Festa in a small way with your family this weekend if you're in town. I'm very excited to introduce Sylvia Hahn from Lackawanna Pro Bono today. She is on with us to talk about some of the free legal services that Lackawanna Pro Bono offers. Sylvia's been doing a great job of getting out in the news the last couple of weeks to make sure that people understand what services are out there. As we talk about every week, a lot of families and individuals are looking for help and didn't realize that they would need it. This unprecedented crisis, not just the public health crisis, but the economic crisis we find ourselves in, the unemployment crisis that we find ourselves in. A lot of families are struggling and are needing help. And Sylvia and the other attorneys at Lackawanna Pro Bono are able to help. So Sylvia, thank you so much for being with us today. You guys offer a tremendous service, and we want to make sure everyone in Scranton is aware of it.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, absolutely. So if you could maybe talk a little bit about what type of services you offer, and then maybe we can go into a little bit more detail with some examples of how families in Scranton might be able to get help.
Sure. So what Lackawanna Pro Bono does is to provide free legal assistance to people who have very low incomes. And we do that not by having lawyers on our staff who provide the representation, but by arranging for Lackawanna County lawyers to volunteer their time. So the lawyers who represent our clients are lawyers who are in private practice. They may work for a law firm, they may work for themselves, and most of the clients they serve are people who pay a fee for their services. But for us, they volunteer their time. So the clients don't pay a fee at all, and the lawyer doesn't get paid any sort of a fee for the work they're doing for us. We handle a wide variety of civil cases, no criminal cases at all, but a wide variety of civil cases. Mm-hmm. We do family law. We do landlord-tenant matters, which I'm sure everybody knows right now are really in demand. Debtor-creditor matters. So, for example, if somebody is being sued for not paying a credit card or a loan, that's a type of case that we handle. And unemployment comp, and lots of other types of cases. And the services themselves cover a pretty broad range. So sometimes the lawyer is providing only advice, and it might be relatively brief, or they might be doing some negotiations, or they might be representing the person in a court proceeding. So it covers the whole gamut. We also have something that we call an elder law clinic, and that's just for people who are age 60 and over. And through the elder law clinic, low-income senior citizens can get advice about a wide variety of matters. And if their problem is such that it needs more than advice, and it's a type of case that we handle, then through the elder law clinic, we refer them back to us, and we look for a lawyer to actually handle that matter. But also through the elder law clinic, our volunteers draft wills and powers of attorney and living wills. That is on a brief hiatus because of COVID. Those documents need to be signed and notarized depending on which document it is, and doing that with social distancing is difficult. So we're working on a way to resume that.
Yeah. So something that comes to mind, I've had a couple conversations out during our pop-up city halls in our different neighborhoods. You know, as mayor, I get every question in the book from soup to nuts. And of course, I'm not responsible for everything, but my goal across the city is to at least be able to point people to resources. I had a couple of questions while I was in these neighborhoods. People had questions about basically what they were looking for was legal help. But I think we almost need to take it back a step and say, ask you, why is it important to have a lawyer? And also, what are some of the things that you can tell us to demystify it a little bit and make it a little bit less scary? Because I think some people are afraid that if they engage with a lawyer, maybe there's shame in it or they think it's going to be expensive. Why is it important, and how are some of the ways that you can explain that it's not something to shy away from, it's something to look for?
So reasons that lawyers are important. And also another side to that is, when is a lawyer important? And the answer to that is as soon as possible. So as soon as you know you have a legal problem, that's when you need to be looking for a lawyer, because lots of times with the legal problem, there are more options the earlier that you seek help. And on television, you see people meet with their lawyer and then 5 minutes later they're in the courtroom. In real life, it doesn't work that way. There's a need for preparation. So the earlier, the better. But why it's important is, first of all, the law is complicated. And the procedures, the legal procedures that are required in any court proceeding are complicated. And lawyers have special training in that. But lawyers also have special training in how to solve problems. In addition, what a lawyer brings is objectivity. When you're having a legal problem, it is so hard to step back and look at it rationally. But it's so hard to solve any problem if you can't have some degree of rationality about it. So what the lawyer brings is objectivity. Mm-hmm. There's an old saying that a lawyer who represents himself, and it's an old saying, so it's not himself or herself, a lawyer who represents himself has a fool for a client, meaning that even a lawyer shouldn't be representing him or herself, because they won't be able to step back and have that objectivity. And another way to look at the importance of a lawyer is just to imagine that you do have a legal problem and that you think the case is definitely going to lose. With a lawyer or without a lawyer, you are convinced that it's going to lose. So maybe you had a loan and you stopped making the payments and now you're being sued for not paying that loan. So you're thinking, why should I even look for a lawyer? Why should I talk to a lawyer? Well, what a lawyer can bring to it is, number one, they can explain, they can educate. They can tell you what's going to happen, what are the consequences going to be, and do you have options? And so the benefits there are twofold. One, it's likely to reduce your anxiety. And two, it puts you in a better position to make informed decisions, because you are going to have to make decisions. And if you make them without understanding what's going on, it's not likely to be as good a decision as it might be. Something else that the lawyer is going to bring is their ability to evaluate the case. Maybe you're wrong. Maybe it's not a loser. Or maybe you have lots of options. Third thing that a lawyer can bring is the ability to possibly, if it's appropriate, to negotiate with the opposing party. Sometimes it's possible to work something out that's going to mean a better outcome for you. So because of all of those things, having the services of a lawyer can definitely, or is very likely to improve the outcome of the problem. For people who are nervous about calling a lawyer, it's different for me because I work with them all the time. Our lawyers are such good people. There's nothing to be scared about. I don't want to generalize too much, but I think in most instances, people are going to find that their lawyer is a human being and that they're going to be able to relate to them. For people who are concerned about the cost, well, hopefully they would be eligible for our services or for other free legal services that are available. We are not the only organization serving Lackawanna County residents that provides free legal representation. And one of the things that we do when people contact us looking for our services is, if we feel that one of the other programs is more appropriate for them, we direct them to that program. But for somebody who's not going to qualify for any of the programs, what I recommend is, don't assume that you're not going to be able to afford an attorney. Maybe you won't be able to, but maybe you will. You may be surprised. And you need to call around and you need to talk to a lot of different lawyers, because every lawyer's fee is going to be different. And some are going to want everything up front, and some are going to want a small amount up front and be willing to work with you over a period of time on the balance. But you can't shop around just for the lowest fee.
Right.
You need a fee you can afford, but you also need a lawyer who's got the knowledge that you need, and also that you're comfortable with. So that's a lot to shop around for. And there's also the possibility of considering hiring a lawyer for consultation rather than hiring them to handle the entire case. A consultation is an opportunity to just sit down and talk and get some advice. Some lawyers provide free consultation, some don't. But even if you're paying for that consultation, it's likely to be less expensive than hiring them for the full case. And if you can't afford to hire them for full representation, then a consultation is going to be beneficial. And also, there are cases, people probably are aware of this, there are cases for which lawyers typically are not paid unless they win the case. So, for example, a personal injury case. And so in those instances, the individual doesn't need to worry about their ability to afford a fee at the beginning.
So tell me what that threshold is to qualify for services at Lackawanna Pro Bono. And then how would you access the services at Lackawanna Pro Bono? And then if you don't meet that maximum income requirement, what's an alternative source to go to?
So our income eligibility guideline is 125% of the poverty level, which is pretty low. And we look at the income for the whole household. Okay. We do, in certain instances, have the ability to take certain deductions from somebody's gross income. So just looking at the income alone is just the first step. We may be able to make deductions. And in certain cases, we can make some exceptions to those income guidelines, but only up to a certain level. Okay. And the people do have to, the legal problem has to be in Lackawanna County. And we do look to see whether there would be some other way for them to get representation. So if it is a case where the lawyer wouldn't get paid until
they
win the case, it's something that they don't need us for. Sure. And the other services the other free services that are available have pretty much the same income guidelines that we do. Yep. But sometimes we look at them just a little bit differently.
Right. Right. And to contact you all, what's the best way? What's the phone number and the website to go to?
Phone number is 570-961-2714. The office, we are working primarily remotely, so people, it will not be to their benefit to come to the office to apply. So calling Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 is the best thing. And our website is lackawannaprobono.org.
Okay. And that was at 961
2714.
Okay, I was almost right. I only missed one. 961-2714.
Yes.
Is there? Could you just, before I let you go, a couple of examples of a call that you might get later today? Would be somebody's maybe getting evicted and they want to ask for help with that. Family. When you say family law, what are a couple examples of a family law case that Lackawanna Pro Bono might be able to help with?
Sure. Protection from abuse. And most of our clients in protection from abuse cases are the people against whom it's being filed. And the reason for that is that Penn Legal Services, which is the legal aid program that serves Lackawanna County, represents the plaintiffs in those cases. So those people will not need us, but they will not represent the defendants. So that's an example of a family law case that we might handle. And some people might ask, well, gee, why are you helping people who have been abusing their spouses or their significant others or whatever? And the biggest reason is that at that point, no court has made a decision that they have done anything wrong. That's the purpose of the hearing. And with a lawyer, hopefully there will be a fair resolution. Other family law that we do a lot of is custody. We do some support. We do very little divorce simply because our resources are limited. Periodically, we have something that's called the Family Law Help Desk, which is a service through which people can get advice about a wide variety of family law cases, so they can get advice about divorce. And we are holding that remotely these days, phone and Zoom.
The custody is one that I've gotten a couple of questions about. Certainly, that's a big one. So that's good to hear. We do have a question from our Facebook Live audience. The question is, if you live in Scranton, does a lawyer help with out-of-state issues?
No, we don't provide help with out-of-state issues, and the reason for that is that you need a lawyer who is licensed to practice in the state in which the case is occurring. But if the person is eligible financially for legal aid, there may be a legal aid program in that state that would help them. And typically a person has to apply to their home legal aid program and ask that program to refer them to the legal aid program in the other state in order to get services in that other state.
So you would apply to a legal aid program here locally, talk about your case, and they would maybe refer to somebody who practices in New Jersey or something like that.
Or to a legal aid program in New Jersey. Right?
Yeah. Okay. And for legal aid, what would if I needed to contact legal aid, is that like a number for legal aid or?
So for North Penn Legal Services, which is the program that serves Lackawanna County, the number's 877-953-4250.
That's North Penn Legal Services.
Correct.
And I have all these questions that are like a little bit out of your So North Penn Legal Services is for legal aid, 877-953-4250. What about immigration help? So my best friend in the world was an immigration attorney for a very long time. This was in a different state. If you have questions about that, would you know of any of the resources locally that might be able to help people with that?
Sure. So we unfortunately don't have volunteers who have expertise in immigration law, but there are programs that may be able to at least direct people to help that's available. So the Community Justice Project is one place that, if it's not something that they handle, would probably know what services are out there. And I don't know their phone number off the top of my head.
The Community Justice Project. That's a good start. We have a lot of folks here that, as we've been talking about the census, and we're down to just 3.5 weeks of the census. We run into a lot of families who are nervous about answering the census, which is often because of immigration issues, and keeps for me top of mind. There's a lot of people out there with questions about immigration issues for a host of reasons, and people that might be needing help but are afraid to ask for it because of other issues that maybe aren't related, and they can still get help. But we want to encourage people to seek that help out, whether it's from your office or from legal aid, or looks like Community Justice Project or some of these other services. The biggest thing for me that's hard when we go out and about, but this is why we're going out and about, is people just feel so helpless sometimes. They don't know where to turn. And so I see our job at the city to keep pushing out resources, having people like you, Sylvia, on to talk about Lackawanna Pro Bono, to talk about why raising your hand and asking for help, you need a lawyer today. I really liked that quote you used. Trying to make sure that everybody's got resources and is encouraged to use those resources, especially right now when times are so hard. Sometimes you don't think you're ever going to need a certain type of help, and you find yourself, in a situation where you're calling the unemployment office, or you're needing some pro bono legal help. So we're trying to push out the information as much as possible. I'm so grateful for having you and all the lawyers that volunteer for Lackawanna Pro Bono in our community. We got a lot of lawyers in Lackawanna County, so it's good. Some of them are working for free sometimes. And I say that as the daughter of a lawyer. I am not a lawyer myself, but my dad is, which is, I hope, not a dangerous combination. I surround myself with lawyers. I grew up at the dinner table with a lawyer. So for better or for worse, I think for better most of the time. So I like to keep them close to me, which is a good thing. But it's really important for us all to give back. So I appreciate you and everyone that works for Lackawanna Pro Bono for giving back and helping us out.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And if you ever need us, you know where to find us, any resources or things, anytime that if there's an issue that's coming up that you think that the Scranton community needs to hear about, just let us know. We'd love to have you back on.
Great. Thank you very much.
Okay, have a good weekend.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, wow. Okay, that was great. So, yeah, such great services throughout our community, as you all know. So, thanks to Sylvia again for being on today. A couple of other resources that we wanted to highlight today. The vaccine clinic that the Wright Center has been doing with Scranton High School. They had one just on September 1st. We're in touch with the Wright Center. We'll keep making sure we highlight those vaccine clinics. It's really, really important that you get your kids, if you have them, updated with their vaccines. If you missed a beat during COVID, weren't able to take them to the doctor, make sure that you're able to get them back up on their vaccines. Wright Center is partnering with the school district to make sure that you can get some help there. But the Wright Center, they are able to give you those vaccines as well at their location. So make sure to contact the Wright Center if you have questions about the vaccines. Flu vaccines are here as well. So I really encourage people to get the flu vaccine if you're able to. Hopefully this fall we'll see a low flu rate because we'll be masking and social distancing, but we don't know, and so please do get those vaccines if you can. It's really important for us to all try to stay as healthy as possible. On the food front, next Wednesday, September 9th from 2:30 to 5:30, Friends of the Poor will be doing their drive-through at Parker Hill Church in Dixon City. Again, Parker Hill Church at Dixon City, September 9th, 2:30 to 5:30. Thanks to everyone at Friends of the Poor for continuing this amazing service for everyone in our community. We're still seeing, high unemployment, high rates of food insecurity. It's very intense out there for a lot of people. So if you can help in a different way, if you can give, please do give to those services to help people keep food on their plates. And at the city here, we'll try to keep pushing out those resources and keep drawing attention to this so that we're not forgetting our neighbors who may be in need. So along the line of neighbors in need, we just launched on social media our survey for the Mayor's Volunteer Corps. So we are super excited to be starting this Mayor's Volunteer Corps. We've been talking for a long time about how can we make sure to take the offers of help from our neighbors saying, hey, I would like to help do this, this, or that. We're launching the Mayor's Volunteer Corps. We want to hear from you before we finalize the program. What are you most interested in? So examples, so please, go on social media, take the survey and let us know. Also, there's a type in your own ideas so we can hear back from you. We have kind of 3 buckets that we have. It's neighborhood cleanup. So we get a lot of, we have 500 miles of, I think we have 500 miles of streets in our city. We don't have the capability at the city to always be keeping up every single yard of growth of some of these grasses and weeds on other, sometimes there's properties that we just aren't able to maintain in neighborhoods if the owner themselves isn't able to maintain it. We are trying to get as structured as possible and as organized as possible to be able to do that better at our parks and in our streets. But we really do need help. I mean, so y'all know we're on a tight budget here and we're trying to figure out how to do all of this in the most efficient way possible. And we want you all to live in the cleanest, nicest neighborhood that we can make it. We do need your help for that. So there's a neighborhood cleanup. Within that would be litter. We've got a litter problem. We talk about it on these Facebook town halls all the time. It's disgusting. I don't know why people can't figure out that there's garbage can pretty close to you, or just take the garbage and put it in your bag and take it home. We got to work on that. We've already mapped the garbage cans in our city and we're working on getting more out there, but we need everybody to do their part. But with this Mayor's Volunteer Corps, neighborhood cleanup can be a part of that. So that's one piece. The other piece we're thinking about is parks. So maybe kind of an adopt a park program. I know Councilperson Gahan's been talking about this too. We're excited about the idea of having people that pitch in at their local parks, and it's a really cool way that we can continue to improve our parks. We're doing a study on what we need to do with our parks. That was something that was commissioned last year, and it's finally happening. It got a little bit delayed with COVID, but we're excited to start prioritizing some of the big fixes to the parks. But we need help along the way with some of the littler things. So that would be a great way to help out within the Mayor's Volunteer Corps. The third thing is neighbor to neighbor assistance. And this is something that we've really seen from our pop-up city halls around the summer, is people saying, hey, my neighbor has a hard time getting her recycling down to the curb and back up, and I help her with that. So a lot of people already do this, but we're trying to maybe formalize that in some way. So if there's somebody that calls us and say, hey, I can't do this, we might have a neighbor who can help them and form a neighborly partnership where that person can help them with their garbage cans, their recycling cans. Within that as well, a welcome committee where if somebody new moves into the neighborhood, there's somebody that's designated to, and we have, we can help them get the materials they need to have kind of a welcome packet, knock on the door, introduce themselves, the neighborhood, get some city resources to them, and really have everybody have a connection within their neighborhood from day one when they move in. So those are the way that we think about the program in these three buckets. But we're looking for your ideas, so please go to our Facebook, our Instagram, fill out the survey for the Mayor's Volunteer Corps, and we really look forward to bringing everybody together. The whole initiative is the Scranton Together initiative, and we really are just so excited about the interest we've already seen organically, and then to try to push this out more now and make sure that we're creating a program that works for all of you and that helps us all together move forward from our lawns to our parks to our new neighbors. So excited about that, and thanks to my team for working hard to put that together. On the parks front, Park of the Week is Clover Field. So we've got the Parks Passport in great effect, still beautiful weather outside. So try to take advantage of our parks. Clover Field is the Park of the Week, and you can tag Scranton, hashtag Scranton Parks 2020 with photos, and we'll make sure to share those. So today, the Scranton Together Neighborhood Initiative is I like to call it Pop-Up City Hall. Pop-Up City Hall is actually at City Hall in the steps. They're there till 6 p.m. You can actually fill out the census there. So we've got the Census Bureau. They've got the laptop set up. They're sanitizing them between uses, but I know they've gotten some census signups so far. So if you need to sign up for the census and you don't have access to the internet or a computer, you can come to City Hall until 6 o'clock. We'll be there. There's also going to be mobile census assistance centers going around the city. That schedule will come from the Census Bureau. We'll share that as soon as we have it. And we'll be in the next few weeks before that big September 30th deadline, we'll be doing some more, another day of action kind of with the city and in partnership with the Census Bureau to try to push out all this information and make sure people know that the census is so important. It's about $2,100 per person that we lose if we aren't counting people. So that's a lot of money for all the resources for our schools, for emergency services, for our infrastructure. We need those dollars in the next 10 years in Scranton. Basically, somebody not being counted is $2,100 that we're just leaving on the table, and we cannot afford that. So please make sure that you're reminding people to fill out the census. I'm still excited to, it's only the second time we've talked about it, so it's still new. The SPD, the Scranton Police Department Pen Pal program, we're inviting children up to 18 and any special needs individuals to become a pen pal with a Scranton police officer. I think this is so cool. I wish my daughter were old enough to do this, but in due time. So you can mail a letter, work with your child to mail a letter to Scranton Police Department Attention Pen Pal Program, 100 South Washington Avenue in Scranton 18503. So I'm excited for that, and thanks very much to SPD for a very cool initiative. Okay, on the utilities, the rent and mortgage assistance. So this program, this is a tough program. I know a lot of people haven't been able to take advantage of it. I know it has flaws, but I still do want to talk about it because if you are eligible, you can go to lackawannacounty.org, look up the rent and mortgage assistance and see if you're eligible and you can make it work. It's been, I know some of these programs are frustrating and maybe not as user-friendly as they should be, but I still want to make sure people know it's out there. So lackawannacounty.org for the rental mortgage assistance. The eligibility is household, oops, nope, that's different. Sorry. Yeah, so lackawannacounty.org for the rent and mortgage assistance, or Catholic Social Services. Stephanie is at 207-2283. United Neighborhood Centers, 343-8835. Catherine McAuley Center, 342-1342. So those are places that you can go. Now, the eviction stay in Pennsylvania technically lifted on the 1st, but then the CDC, the federal government, came in and said the eviction stay is still through January, until January. So you shouldn't be able to be evicted for non-payment of rent until January. But if you have questions about that, you can call those resources. You can call 211. Just always remember 211 if you have any questions. It's a great resource, and they should be able to help guide you, get you some guidance on any questions about that. So, okay, sorry. In addition, on the home owners. Okay, on the homeowners mortgage assistance program, contact the Pennsylvania House Finance Agency at 855-827-3466. Okay. And then we had talked about legal aid earlier with Sylvia. So Lackawanna Pro Bono has services, and also North Penn Legal Services at 877-953-4250. They have free civil legal aid for people facing foreclosure. So please take advantage of these things so that you can make sure that you're able to keep a roof over your head through this really tough time. Okay, so talked about the census. Can't tell. I could talk about, maybe I should just talk about it for the next 30 days and maybe I should do one of those marathon Facebook lives for like a week or something and not sleep so I can draw attention. I don't know. We've got to do this. $2,100 per person on the table. Might as well just burn it with a match if we aren't filling out the census. So please, 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 please get that out there to your friends and neighbors. My2020census.gov, or call 844-330-2020, or head on over to City Hall right here on the steps of this building until 6 o'clock tonight. You can fill it out yourself. And then again, that mobile assistance van will be going around for the next whole month. Okay. On the health front, always talk about if you need help, raise your hand. So the Human Services of Pennsylvania, you can call 855-284-2494 if you need some assistance personally. There is help for you there. You can call the Suicide Prevention Lifeline, 800-273-8255. Or if you would rather text, you can text TALK, T-A-L-K, to 741-741. It's free, anonymous, 24/7 crisis support. So please use those resources if you need them. There's a veteran crisis line, 800-273-8255, 800-273-8255. And on the domestic violence front, if you or someone that you know is experiencing issues there, you can call 888-799-7233, or you can chat online at thehotline.org. Women's Resource Center also, 346-4671. Okay, let's see. Not sure if we have any questions out there today. I'll give it another couple of minutes. Just see. Okay. All right. I think a lot of people are probably out celebrating the Labor Day weekend. I'd say before, there is a question. Sorry, Glenda, cases are going up in Lackawanna due from colleges. So yes, that is my understanding of the cases, is that there's been a high rate of new cases with some of the college students who are back. And that is, to my understanding, the jump in positive rates here in the area. The colleges, we're in very close touch with all of the colleges and universities. They are doing their best to keep their students within kind of the university bubble around them, and to make sure that those students who have tested positive are under quarantine and aren't out in public. But it's all to remind us all that the virus is very much here, that the masking, the social distancing is it is very serious, and we need to be doing that. Masks and being outside is the best combination. Being outside really helps. So we've got to utilize this beautiful weather this weekend. Get out there, be out in the open there with your mask on, enjoying the weather and enjoying some friends and family at a distance. It's going to be tough if we're still in this situation with COVID, which I think we will be as we go into fall and winter when we aren't able to be outside as much. So I really worry about that. I worry about people's physical and mental health because of that. And I worry about our small businesses. We just talk about this a lot, but these businesses just can't survive with the type of restrictions on them already. And then, if you're a restaurant or some sort of event space, if you've been able to have some events outside during the summertime, once that the sun kind of sets on summer, I do really, really worry about the businesses. So we're continuing to try to find resources for our businesses and trying to advocate at the federal level for more support. I think we are not going to survive in the way that we need to here at the city, or for small businesses if we don't get more relief from the federal level. I am not optimistic about any packages passing in the next 60 days or so. Maybe. I'd say maybe that'll happen. I hope so. We'll keep pushing for it, but it's going to be tough. The Senate, the election's only 60 days away, and there's often not a lot of legislative action in places, cities or federal, right before elections. So I hope I'm wrong. I hope that the Senate really does come through and is able to pass support for our small businesses, pass support for fiscal relief for cities like ours here in Scranton. We'll keep pushing that. Please keep pushing us, your questions, your comments, concerns. We really thrive hearing from our constituents. You can email Scranton311 at scrantonpa.gov. That's the best way to get a hold of us. You can call us at 348-4101. Either of those is fine. Social media, it's a lot easier for us if it's via email, so that we can be sending it out directly to somebody who can get an answer within the city. Although of course, we're on the social media as well, but really try to push things out through social media, but then incoming things from you, that email is the best way to get a hold of us. So we really appreciate everything that you guys all do. Please sign up for the Mayor's Volunteer Corps, express that interest. Let us know what interests you the most, and we'll be able to then shape the program in a way that gets the most use and the most help for our city and is fulfilling for those of you who are willing to volunteer. So thank you all. Please have a safe Labor Day weekend. Go eat some Italian food from one of our great Italian restaurants in Scranton. That's one of the things I brag about to my friends and family from outside of the area, is how great the Italian is here. And I brag about the pizza all the time. So please try to go enjoy that, even though we can't all be on the square here for La Festa. So remains a tough year, and these things that we're missing out on. But I think we can look forward to coming back next year and having it even be bigger and better. So have a safe time. Please, everybody, mask up, wear masks. It really is important. We've got to get through this, and the masks and being outside is the biggest thing. So thank you, and we'll see you next week.